Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today, I always come back. Yeah, these really aren't getting any funnier. Alright, but I literally just got back from a screening of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So, I don't really know where to begin with this, but just saying that it's here, it exists. So, to those who don't know the history of this movie, is that originally this film was announced back in 2015, and, well, let's just say it didn't come out anywhere near 2015. This movie had been in development hell for years. It originally started with Warner Brothers, then it moved to Universal. Multiple scripts were passed around. In fact, one of the Warner Brothers scripts was theorized to have turned into the Banana Splits movie, which is another horror film about killer animatronics. And then they settled on a script, but they couldn't settle on directors, and that got swapped around. I believe Chris Columbus was supposed to direct this at some point, which I wonder how that would have turned out. But finally, they settled on a director, and then, well, they started getting all the production done, casting, and filming, and, well, it's here. After almost a decade. I started out being a fan of FNAF when I was just 7 years old, back in 2014, and 9 years later, I am 16 years old. Like, almost done with high school. It's kind of crazy to think about how far FNAF has come, to where it started out as just this indie game, and then now it has this big budget motion picture distributed by a big studio. It's just really odd yet cool to think how far the games and the community have gone. But enough with this setup, let's actually dive into the movie. So, this film follows a man named Mike Schmidt as he gets a new job, securing and looking over a old pizzeria going by, well, you all know, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And during his first week, things get a little, shall we say, quirky. And eventually, he realizes he can't get a sitter for his little sister, so he decides bringing her along, and then the little sister, starts getting used and starts becoming friends with the animatronics, and then it all culminates in this big thing on night 5 that, let's just say it's interesting to see. So, non-spoiler first, I'm gonna say is, I really like this movie. When I started seeing reviews coming out saying that obviously critics and some of the public aren't liking it, but there was one common theme I noticed with the negative reviews is that they're from people who haven't played the game or know of the story. So that's a fun greatest common factor to see through that. But from then I heard reviews coming from fans of the game saying that it's great. It definitely feels like it definitely is for the fans, as Jason Blum himself stated. And I'm going to be honest, I walked out of this extremely satisfied. It met my expectations, and I had a great time. And I'd honestly recommend seeing in theaters or watching it on Peacock, because it's also on Peacock now as well, because, same day, theaters and streaming. Now, getting into the spoilery stuff with what I like and what I don't like. First off, the acting is great. Josh Hutcherson does a great job playing this guy who's very much struggling, especially with taking care of his little sister, having a job that doesn't pay well, and then and his dynamic with his little sister is great. It felt real, like it actually felt like a relationship that an older and a younger sibling would have together. Like that, the sibling bond felt real between Mike and Abby. Then Matthew Lillard does a great job. And spoiler alert, even though it's not really a spoiler because kind of came out already, but yes, Matthew Lillard is playing this movie's villain, William Afton. Good old Springtrap here. So, but yeah, Matthew Lillard does a great job when he eventually comes on screen as William. He channels a lot of Stu Macher energy, but he knows when to play it up and be serious, and he's legitimately good in the role. Another thing that I love so much is the animatronics. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and Golden Freddy all look fantastic. I mean, that's not surprising. They were worked on... Oh god, Springtrap. The animatronics were made by the Jim Henson Creature Shop, who, you know, Jim Henson's done a lot of, and his effects people have made a lot of really awesome things. Obviously, especially with puppetry and mechanical animatronic stuff, it's great. The animatronics look great. They move well. And they get some decently scary moments. Now, and it's interesting to compare this to the other two animatronic horror movies that had come out. Obviously, the Banana Splits movie and Willy's Wonderland. Which, I'm just going to say, I'm not downing those films. I think those two movies are still worth watching as well, because they're fun in their own right. But the animatronics in those two films don't feel like animatronics. They feel like people in mascot suits, while in FNAF, the animatronics in the FNAF movie feel and move like they're real animatronics. And a lot of that goes down to, obviously, the animatronic suits and the sound design that accompanies them. Like, every time they move, there's like a mechanical noise that comes with them that sounds real. But yeah, animatronics, fucking stellar. They look great, love them, and I'm so happy they decided to make them fully practical and just not use CG. And yeah, but they look great. Another thing I like is I like the set. I like the way the pizzeria looks. It delivers really good ambience in my opinion. It looks creepy. But yeah, the set, again, it's great. It looks good. Again, I'm happy they actually built a physical location. Really does add to the whole, you know, vibe of the place. Now, one thing I'll admit didn't really like so much is I'm not a huge fan of the B plot with Mike's aunt trying to take Mike's sister Abby. Kind of felt like a little tacked on, and it's a very slow B plot that ultimately goes nowhere. So why even have it in the movie to begin with? Okay, there's only really one reason to give it in here, and this is a spoiler warning. I feel like the only reason this B plot's in here is to, one, give more motivation to Mike and finding a new job, but also to sneak a cameo from Matthew Patrick, Matt Pat, the game theorist himself. I'm gonna be honest, when he came on screen, I was not expecting that, because I saw the stream clip of him being really upset that all the other YouTubers were in it, and he wasn't. You fooled me, Matthew. You really did, you cheeky son of a bitch. And, another thing I'm not the hugest fan of is that I kind of wish Matthew Lillard or William Afton was in the movie more. He's only in the beginning and at the end. So it kind of would have been cool to have him come in multiple times, like, as phone guy, Like, obviously the instructor who gives you tells you what to do each night. I feel like that would have been kind of cool if they did that, have William be the phone guy. And that would have been a nice reference to the old phone guy is purple guy theory that went around back in the FNAF 2 days. That would have been cool if they did that. And again, it's always nice just hearing Matthew Lillard's voice. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the FNAF movie. Like I said, if you are a fan of FNAF, definitely see this in theaters. And who knows? Even if you don't know FNAF, I'd still recommend seeing this, because I went with my parents who don't know FNAF too well, and they still had a great time watching it. So yeah, all in all, I'm gonna give the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, I'd say, a solid 80%. Again, it's not a perfect movie. The B plot is very subpar. Wish Matthew Lillard was in the movie more. And I kind of wish it was a little scarier. Not gonna lie. Really, it was creepy. Really wasn't that scary, though. And would I have preferred the film to have been rated R? Maybe. But I can understand why they went PG-13 with this as well. Because, FNAF is kind of made up with, kids and preteens and all that. So I can understand why they did that. So, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed my review of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Hopefully, we can get the FNAF game review video out at some point. I hope that's able to come out before, fucking November at this point. We're really running late with that, and I'm sorry. It's just that's taken a while to edit, and we've had a few hiccups along the way, but we're going to try our best to get that video out soon. But, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. And Springtrap says bye as well. Asshole.